Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Randy and this is Old Guy Hikes, and if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. We talk about hiking and go on hiking trails on this channel. And today is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning and it's about 65 degrees, and I am at Wilson Lake, Wilson State Park in Kansas, central Kansas, near Lucas, Kansas, near Russell, Kansas, just about 8 miles off of I-70. It's a really nice little lake with some really cool hiking trails and some neat rock formations. So the trusty sidekick Chester's along with me here. He's going to go with me on just this first trail. The first trail is called the Dakota Trail, and this is the RV park. We're RV camping this week here at Wilson Lake, my wife and I and Chester. And just up the road from the RV campground, Blue Stem, if you're looking for RV campgrounds, we are in the Blue Stem Loop. Just up the road from that is the trailhead for the Dakota Trail. The Dakota Trail is only about a mile long. Just kind of depends. It's up in this hill right here in front of me. It goes down by the lake over there, and kind of depends on how much of it you want to do. But it's about a mile long. Chester's going to go with me on this first one, and then he is going to go back to the camper, and I'm going to go to other parts of the lake and do the other trails. So thanks for coming along and checking this out, and I hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about the trails at Wilson State Park. Here we go. Okay, so we made it to the top of this hill and had kind of a nice, almost 360 view up at the top. The trail, the map shows that there's a trail that goes down to the lake, but I couldn't find it over there where it said there was a trail. It just went into some thick trees and overgrown stuff, and it didn't look like there was a trail there. So we'll get down to the water on the other trails, but this is pretty much it on this trail. I mean, we're going to go around the rest of this hill here and get a few more views. It's a really pretty lake here for sure, but I'm going to take Chester back to the camper, and he's going to stay there while I go do the other two trails. So getting a little steep. It's just a little bit muddy. It's not too bad. It rained all day yesterday and a little bit on and off last night, but this soil seems to drain pretty well here, and it's also pretty gravelly. So let's see, Chester, let's go down here. Hey, let's go down here. It looks like maybe there's a trail down this way. So it's not been too awful muddy, just a little bit here and there. Yeah, it kind of comes down to a little bit of rock formations. All right, continuing on. So really, I would say the hardest part about this little trail is just that it's really kind of overgrown and not super maintained, probably not traveled a whole lot, and doesn't keep the vegetation down on the trail very much. So we've been knocking through knee to waist high weeds and vegetation for quite a bit of this trail. Definitely would recommend some bug spray. Okay, we're just about done with the trail. We just came to a spot where they just dumped a whole bunch of brush right on the trail. So we're just going to go around it and finish going kind of behind the bathhouse here and not on the official trail, I guess. The trail is up that way, but they covered it with brush. All right, Chester's going to go back to the camper and I'm going to go on to the next one. I'll show you that one next. Alright, now we are on the Wilson Lake Loop, and this is actually mountain bike trails over here. There's, probably 4, 5, 6 miles at least of mountain bike trails on this section. I'm just going to do a portion of it, kind of the, whatever portion sounds good to me or feels good. Probably, a couple miles worth. This is really fabulous. So I mean, it's like I said, miles and miles of bike trails through here, so it really intertwines and there's just trails going everywhere. I'm just pretty much sticking to the perimeter. I'm just kind of doing a perimeter hike basically, so anytime I come to an intersection I'm just opting for the the trail that goes closer to the water so that I can stay right along the water. Oh, there's a nice beach. That trail just skirted around the base of that hill there and kind of around the beach. There wasn't ever a trail that went down to the beach. I'm actually surprised that they don't have a trail like maybe right here or something going down to the beach. You could actually rock hop and bushwhack down pretty easily right here if you really wanted to get to the beach. Alright, now the trail's just right along top of the marina here. I really like this trail, especially the perimeter like this. It goes right along the water for almost the entire trail. And just tons of cool views. Alright, we're just about to wrap this one up. This has been the Wilson Lake Loop, and probably only going to be about a mile, mile and a half. Like I said, there's several miles of trails through here. I just did the perimeter of this just to kind of get a taste for it. Now we're heading over to the north side of Wilson Lake and to the Rocktown Loop is the name of it. All right, hang on. Rocktown Loop is next. Alright, so this is our third trail for the day. This is the Rocktown Trail. This is in Lucas Park, and I thought it was maybe a city park since it's called Lucas Park and there's a city called Lucas here, but it's actually managed by the Army Corps of Engineers, so it's still part of the Wilson Lake area, but it's not state park, it's federal or Army Corps of Engineers park. Still, I don't think there's any charge to get in. There is a charge to get into, I should mention that, the Wilson State Park. The first two things I did, Dakota and the Wilson Lake Loop, there are car permits required for that. I think it's maybe $5 a day. We're here for 3 days and it cost us $15 for the car, so I'm assuming that means it's $5 a day. But this is, if you don't know, if you're not from this area or you don't know Kansas very well, this is about as classic rolling high plains as you can get. Almost looks like wheat, but it's just the tall grasses that grow in the upper prairies or the high prairies, and just rolling hills of this tall grass. It's really pretty, and believe it or not, it gets prettier the later into the fall it gets. And if you're from this area, you'll know what I'm talking about. Summertime is beautiful out here, but everything's just green. In the fall, you start to get all the different hues of reddish browns and orange browns, and there's a lot of brown, I will admit that, but it is definitely a beautiful palette of colors that you can get in the fall and winter in this area. This is probably about the prettiest time of year right now, because you get some greens, you get some browns, some reds, and some oranges. It's just a really pretty area. Anyway, this is a really famous trail in this area because of the rock formations that we're going to be going to see here in just a little bit. One of the themes, if you watch my videos, or if you've never been on one of my videos before this one, you'll learn that one of my themes of all my videos is trying to find beauty in every situation, every landscape that you're in. And usually I can find something beautiful everywhere. So, if you're not used to a landscape like this, of just kind of rolling hills and not much for trees and not a lot of, mountain views or rivers or rapids or waterfalls or anything, you might have trouble seeing the beauty. But really, this view right here with the lake and the rolling hills and the wind pushing through the grasses and making the grasses wave, it's really beautiful. It's just such a pretty thing. And then add to that the nice flowers that are still blooming. They're very pretty. I don't know what they are, but they're very pretty. Something for the bees and the butterflies and the dragonflies. There's a dragonfly. There's a butterfly. Something for the insects to feed on later in the year. They get plenty of stuff in the spring and summer, but here in the fall, gotta have something for them to eat too. All right, we're almost to the rock formation, I think. We're getting our first view of Rocktown. I think that's probably what that is over there. And as I've seen in, I think, both of my other trails I've done today, the old stone posts. They're still in use actually. If you drive around out in this area, you'll see all kinds of stone posts still being used. A little box turtle, I think. Is that what that is? Sorry, buddy. He was out in the sun, having himself a sun. Okay, just came around the corner and started down this hill, and there are the fairly famous, probably the most famous rock formations for this area straight ahead of us there. They're the ones everybody sees pictures of when they see pictures of Wilson Lake. I'll be down there in just a minute. Get some closer up looks of it. It is quite the impressive formation of rocks. It's really cool. Alright, just gonna take a few pictures and head her on back to the car, I think. Alright, this was awesome. I just have the walk back to the car, which is about a mile. I don't expect anything fantastic or crazy, but if I do see something, you know, there are some horned toads out here and some banded lizards. So if I come across a cool piece of wildlife or some beautiful scene, I will add it. I think we're going to go into Lucas either today or tomorrow. Lucas, if you don't know much about the town, it is a real artsy type town. Some really cool things to look at. So I'm going to add that on the very end here. So this is just going to kind of be a Wilson Lake Trails and Lucas, Kansas video. So it might be a little long, but it'll be pretty cool. I won't put a whole lot of Lucas stuff on the end, but it'll be worth hanging around for. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end the trail part here. Like I said, unless something really cool comes up. I would rate all these trails as a 2 out of 5 on my Old Guy Hikes difficulty rating. None of them are very hard, especially this one, really easy trail. The first one, Dakota, was a little bit more difficult just because it hadn't been hiked very much and was pretty overgrown, but for the most part, very easy trails. Easy to find, not far off I-70, definitely worth a side trip if you're going down through central Kansas and you want to take a morning and go do some hiking and get off the highway. This would be a great option. So thanks for watching and hang on tight for some views of Lucas, Kansas. Second box turtle of the day. This guy's got a little lunch. He's chewing on a grasshopper or something. Okay, so we are in the small town of Lucas, Kansas. It's just north about 6 or 7 miles of Wilson Lake, and it has one of the most unique little tourist side trips that you're going to find, really. This is the Garden of Eden, and I really can't tell you a whole lot about it because I haven't read about it, but I'm going to show it to you as we walk around. It's lots of statues and stone stuff, and it's just very interesting. So let's go take a quick look. Is on the National Register of Historic Places. So I guess it's pretty historic. I will find a link and link it down below in the details so you can read about it.
Welcome to SB Dinsmore's Garden of Eden. You're watching a video tour of the street-side sculpture. Your tour guide will show you the sculpture in the yard. We'll start with the grape arbor and attached sculpture and continue around the exterior sidewalk. The grape arbor...
Just a lot of artsy, sculpture-y type of things here. And this is the fanciest bathroom in all of the land. And that is exactly what this is, bathrooms. And that's all it is, art and bathrooms. All right, be sure to check out Lucas, Kansas and Wilson State Park. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you on the trail sometime real soon. Bye-bye.